got a slip in your palm and a hole in your chest. Black coffee on the felt, man, you look like a mess. 3-team parlay turned to dust in your hand. Now you stare at the chips like they made you this man. But don't you go quiet, don't you fade from the floor. Your name still means something to somebody for sure. Put the glass down, baby. Look at me now. Hold on, hold on. Not tonight, not now. Hold on. Let me pull you out. That fella bites hard, but it don't get the crown.
What's up, everybody? It's Toad back with you with Toadstool Sports for Friday, whatever day it is, August 7th. 1-2 on the show yesterday. It should have been 2-1. I don't know what else to say about that. The Pirates could have done it as well. I mean, they tied the game. They were down 2-0. They'd given up 2 runs in the first inning, I think, on 1 hit. There was a 2-run home run, I think, in the first inning, I want to say. And then after that, Ashcraft settled down for a while. Okay. So then the Pirates actually tied the game, I think, in the top of the 4th, I want to say. Something like it was 2-2. I think it was 2-2 in the 5th inning. And then they decided to blow it and allow 3 runs, I'm pretty sure, in the 5th inning. So they were on the verge of at least pushing that bet. And then that didn't happen. Toronto was one of the worst beats that you'll ever see. Dylan Cease was excellent in the game. I think he went 7 innings in the game, I want to say, maybe even longer than that. And if we went first 5, we would have won because they were winning 1-0 at the time. But they out-hit the Cubs massively in the game. Like, they had, going into the 9th inning, I think Toronto was winning the hit battle like 10-4 in the game or something like that. But Toronto only had 2 runs to show for it. Still, it was 2-0 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th with Varland, Toronto's closer, in the game there. I don't think he'd blown a save all year, if I'm not mistaken, although this was him pitching 2 days in a row, but he's done that before anyway. 2 outs. 2 outs. You're up 2-0. All you have to do is get one of the next 2 guys out and don't allow a home run. That's literally all you need to do. You can allow a single there. It could be 2-1, and then you can still get the next guy out. What does he do? No, he allows a 2-run home run to Bregman. Then Toronto doesn't score in the top of the 10th with the ghost runner. And once that happens, you know they're going to lose because you know the Cubs are going to score their ghost runner, and that was it. Absolutely brutal bad beat. Toronto was clearly the right call in that game, and I thought they had the advantage for the full game. I didn't love the first 5 necessarily because I thought both starting pitchers might actually do okay there, which actually did happen. Peterson, again, wasn't really that bad in the game, although he kind of got lucky in some ways. Obviously, he got outpitched by Cease. I thought Toronto was going to have the bullpen edge based on the usage patterns and whatever, and they should have. 1 out away, man, with a 2-run lead, 1 out away. Like, what do you want? And then Las Vegas was able to kind of do the opposite. If you saw that game in WNBA, we got the win with Vegas. If you played the spread, you kind of lucked out, but you won the -1.5. They won by 2 in overtime. If you saw that game, I wasn't paying attention to it, but Vegas was losing by 20 in the second quarter, and then they scored 22 unanswered points. They took the lead, and I think once they did that, you kind of knew, okay, they're going to win this game. And once they had done that, they had the lead for most of the rest of the way, but they couldn't really pull away. They had the lead for the majority of the second half. It was a close game statistically, but Vegas wound up winning. And I think it was really defense that did it. It was a lower scoring game than what Indiana wants. Indiana wants to run up and down and score a ton, and that was looking like what they were going to be able to do early in the game if you look at like the game flow or whatever, but Vegas was able to put a stop to that. And prevent Indiana. Of course, when that 22-0 run happened, Indiana did not score for a prolonged period of time there. Vegas's defense was kind of able to get the job done in that one as the better defense. So there you go. All right. We're going to have 3 plays today. I feel like that's kind of my wheelhouse. That's what I do. It's all baseball for me today. I'm not going to do anything with the WNBA today. Baseball, it's all 3 sides. We're going to have to lay some juicy money lines this time, so you better be ready for this. But we're going to be playing on 3 teams that I think have a situational edge here, plus the starting pitching edge in all 3. So we better get these wins here, man. Dirty Sock, what's up? Garrett, what's up? Enjoy that, the Braves, until they get absolutely smoked in today's game. All right. Oops, I'm on WNBA here. We have all evening games here because it's Friday. Mets, Pittsburgh, I'm going to give out a play on this. You probably know what it's going to be already, and I hope we can get this one. I'm going to trust my man, Zach Thornton, one more time. We're going to take the Mets on the money line here, plus 123. We'll go full game on this. The Mets have the better bullpen, so I'm going to say let's do that that way here. Thornton has one more chance to get back on my good side here after he sucked ass in his last game, but he's pitched well prior to that, and he's going up against a Pittsburgh bullpen game. So I think we have a bunch of advantages here. I think we have the better starting pitcher. We have the better scenario, the situation, because Pittsburgh is returning home from a road trip, and this road trip, they were gone for more than a week, and I talk about teams returning home from road trips. It's bad. You have to get back to home life. It could be a distraction. Like, do you really want to come back home and play the Mets, one of the lesser teams in baseball this year? Look at the way that Pittsburgh, their road trip played out, man. Terrible road trip. They lost 3 out of 4 in Cincinnati, and then they proceeded to lose 3 out of, it was an 8-game road trip. Then they proceeded to lose 3 out of 4 in Milwaukee. That basically ended their season. Like, I think this might be like a dream crusher scenario for Pittsburgh. Like, they had Milwaukee's number this year, and they went in, and Milwaukee's a good team, but they went in and they lost all but one of those games. After winning the first game in that series, they lost the last 3. This is brutal, man. Pittsburgh, they're done. They can't win with Paul Skeens on the mound. They're not going anywhere. I know they're back at home where their offense is better, but this is not going to work out for them, in my opinion. I think this is a negative spot. It's a bad spot. It's a distraction spot. And the Mets, even though they sold at the trade deadline, they're winning right now. They just swept Cleveland. They're coming in from Cleveland, so they actually have a better travel spot here. Cleveland to Pittsburgh is a pretty quick trip. And I know I don't necessarily want to play on a team that scored 13 runs yesterday like the Mets did. Their offense is not that good. They're not going to put up 13 runs again this time. And Foster Griffin, it looks like his debut for Cleveland did not go well at all. I thought that game was going to be way lower scoring than that. I don't know what happened in that game. But, yeah, I still think the Mets, the thing is they're playing well right now. Like, they're not showing signs that they're not motivated. You know what I mean? That's what you need to look for after the trade deadline when you have a team that's had a bad season. The thing about the Mets is they knew that they were going to be sellers at the trade deadline for a long time, so I don't think that came as any surprise. So they're just playing out the stretch, but it looks like they're trying to win games right now, and they're maybe kind of an undervalued team because of that. So I like all that. We're getting him as an underdog here. We get Zach Thornton on the mound, who I think is still under the radar. Young pitcher, but he hasn't really thrown that many innings yet, so I'm not really worried about that. He's got a 2.88 ERA, 1.05 whip. He's been worse on the road in a way, 3.48 road ERA, but his opponent batting average is 194, so he's still been effective on the road. He's only made 2 bad starts. One was his first start of the season, which was on the road at Washington, and last time out against Miami, where I believe we lost on an under in that game. And maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't remember. He wasn't good in that start, but he's been good in all of his other starts. So I'm not about to write him off yet. And he's done well against some good offenses in here, like Atlanta, Milwaukee. He's got a low hit rate. He doesn't really walk many guys, but he also doesn't strike guys out. So I know the advanced analytics guys aren't going to like that. He doesn't get that many strikeouts, but I'm willing to back him in a spot like this against who I think is an inferior pitcher. And Pittsburgh, even though they're a good offense, Thornton has never faced them before, so that should be an extra advantage to a young, talented pitcher, usually they have an extra advantage when the hitters have to like figure him out on the fly. So that's what we're going to go with here. I forgot to go through all the stuff here, by the way. We're going to go through all the rest of this stuff real quick. Both teams did play yesterday. The Mets used 3 relief pitchers, just normal usage from them. Pittsburgh also normal with 3. But the Mets have the better bullpen, like I said. That's why we're going full game. They're number 6 in bullpen. Pittsburgh's is a bullpen that you usually want to avoid, like I did yesterday. They're 23rd, although I think their bullpen wasn't really that bad in the game yesterday, but whatever. And in fact, I think they used their better, or no, they didn't. Milwaukee was, what am I saying? Milwaukee won. I was going to say, did Pittsburgh use their better relievers? I don't really think so. I think Milwaukee did, but whatever. Anyway, Carmen Mlodzinski is getting the start for Pittsburgh here. Oh, yeah, and offensively, yeah, Pittsburgh's obviously better, like I said, but I like pitching to counter good hitting. You know, Pittsburgh's number 4 in hitting. We know the Mets are not very good at 27th, but whatever. Situation and pitching, man. We're going to fade Mlodzinski here, who's getting a start because I actually don't know why he's getting the start here. I think it's going to be a bullpen-ish game for Pittsburgh because Mlodzinski's made starts before, so he might actually... Actually, this is what I'll say. I think when you play this game, you should pick Thornton must start, but don't pick a starter for Pittsburgh because they might put some opener in front of Mlodzinski and have him go like 3 innings behind an opener. You don't know what they're doing here, but it's going to be some sort of bullpen-ish game, although Mlodzinski might actually start because he has been starting some games. 3.15 ERA for him, but 1.31 whip indicates his ERA should be higher than that. He puts some guys on base, although he's been decent at home, 3.2 ERA, better opponent batting average at home. He's not pitching poorly recently, but again, these are relief appearances. You know, I think sometimes they use him in certain matchups and stuff like that as well. And against the Mets, this was kind of the clincher for me. He's not very good against the Mets. They have 25 at-bats against him, 280 average, 779 OPS, 7-4 strikeout walk ratio. So if you're going to get a few innings out of him, I don't think they're going to be completely clean here. So, yeah, let's take the Mets as the underdog here. The money seems like it might not agree with me on this. 57% of tickets, 60% of the cash on Pittsburgh at about minus 130. But the line initially did drop. Pittsburgh was minus 140 something, and then it dropped to minus 130. That might have been because they announced Mlodzinski as the starter. I don't really know, but whatever. That's what we're doing. The money is also hitting the under in this game at 8 or 8.5. I don't have as good of a feel for that, but yes, I like the Mets in that game, so that's what we're going to do there. Yeah, good luck with that. The Yankees are going to win that game by like several runs, I'm pretty sure. John Daly, it's a common meme. I'm surprised. I'd be surprised if it hasn't already been done. The exact meme that I posted, it's definitely on my card. I'm giving you the Yankees as a play. If you actually want to win money, the Yankees are an absolute play in this game today. Mr. Pinsey, what's up? Yeah, okay. Fried facing Atlanta is one reason why I like that game. From 9 months ago, yeah, because 9 months ago probably. It's because I'm about to have this baby, man. That was before I got pregnant. No, 9 months ago. I mean, what? It was football season. I was hot. I was probably doing well then 9 months ago, right? When was that? That was during football season. No wonder why. All right. Toronto and Philadelphia. My first instinct on this game was to play this game under, but I said it yesterday on the show. I said this looks like it's going to be an under game. And I said the same thing about Atlanta and the Yankees, but that was because it was supposed to be Chris Sale for Atlanta. And yeah, it is not going to be now. So no. But this Soriano-Wheeler game, on the surface, to me, it looks like it's an under game to me, and maybe it will be. I'm not putting it on my card, though. Philadelphia just beat Washington. Philadelphia is hot right now, although I still don't think they're as good as their record looks. I think Washington's kind of just falling off here. It looks like Washington's offense is not doing as well now. Philadelphia used 4 relief pitchers yesterday. I don't like Philly's bullpen, but Anaheim's is worse. Anaheim only used 3. Anaheim is coming off what am I saying, Anaheim? Toronto. I'm thinking Soriano's still in Anaheim. Toronto is coming off that bullshit makeup game loss against the Cubs. 2 outs in the fucking 9th inning, man. 2 outs with a 2-run lead. Louis Varland should personally send me some money for that bullshit. Toronto used 4 relief pitchers as well. Toronto is the better bullpen here, though. But they've used Varland 2 days in a row, so he's not going to be available here. But I don't like Philly's bullpen. They are, where are they at? They're 20th. Toronto's the better bullpen. They're 14th. So I would still consider Toronto's to be the better bullpen, despite the usage yesterday, although it was kind of similar between the two teams yesterday. Philly's offense, they're getting a little bit better, but they're 20th right now, which is still not very good, although they're better at home. Toronto's is awful. They're dead last, 30th. Jose Soriano making his Toronto debut here. How excited is he going to be, man, to go from one bad team to another? I don't really know. I don't really know why the Blue Jays did that. I mean, Soriano's not an old guy, though, and they might have him under contract for a while now. I'm not sure. Soriano's been all right. A 3.29 ERA, 1.25 whip is not really great, but he's been all right. But the one thing that we know about Soriano is he's good on the road. 2.88 road ERA. Last couple of seasons, he's been a considerably better pitcher on the road. This year, he does have a better ERA by like a run on the road, but his opponent batting average is almost the same this year, so he's not really that different home and away, but he is a good road pitcher. He's been pretty good recently, other than the walks kind of being a little bit of an issue recently. Again, he might still get excited for pitching for his new team here. He's got a low hit rate. His walk rate is too high, though. His strikeout rate is also high, so the walks are really the one major issue with him. And he's a ground ball pitcher for what that's worth. He gets a lot of grounders. He'll be going up against, who were we talking about? Philly. This is where I kind of don't want to come in and play the under because Philly hits 333 off him with an 824 OPS and 27 at bats, 5-2 strikeout walk ratio. Obviously, he could come in and pitch well here, you know. Like, I still kind of lean under in this game, but this keeps me off of it as far as the play because Soriano has not done well against Philadelphia in the past. Zach Wheeler is pitching for Philly, but if you want to back Philly in this game, you have to pay a huge price for it. Probably too big of a price because you're playing the team with a better record that has something to play for with an ace pitcher on the mound. Wheeler has a 2.49 ERA, 0.91 whip, really good. He's slightly worse at home, sort of. 2.74 home ERA, doesn't really matter. That's good. His last start was only a 2-inning outing. That was a weird, rain-shortened game, so I'm wondering if it started raining. They took him out of the game because of the rain delay, and then they tried to finish the game, and the game ended only going 6 innings against Baltimore. I don't know what happened in that game, but he had 2 clean innings in that one. He was bad in the start before that against Miami, but he said he was sick, and I guess there was an illness going around the locker room there. He was infecting everybody with COVID. Zach Wheeler, patient 0. No, I have no idea, but I'm not worried about Wheeler here. He's a veteran pitcher. He looks like he's still got his stuff. I think he's going to be good here. He's got a really low hit rate, really low walk rate too, high strikeout rate. All good numbers here. Numbers against Toronto. They're a bad offense, but they also have not done well against Wheeler. And 114 at bats, 28-2 strikeout walk ratio is ridiculous. 228 average, 575 OPS. Philly, you can't really play Philly here, even though they probably do have the advantage here, but that's factored into the line, the matchup advantage. They're at minus 210 here. It dropped from minus 226, 86% of the tickets and 88% of the cash on them. I think probably still a first 5 under because I don't like the Philly bullpen. I don't like Toronto, not in the greatest shape either, so I'd avoid the bullpens, but I still think a first 5 under maybe makes some sense in this game. Obviously, you know my concerns with it. Soriano, not good matchup numbers here. I don't have any concerns with Wheeler, really. Total's at 8 for the full game, so it's probably about 4, I would imagine, in the first 5, which is a reasonable number for a game like this. I still think that would be my best approach for this game. I mean, if you wanted to lay a run line with Philly, I think Philly should win that game, but I would not want to do it. I think the price is just way too high. So those are my thoughts on that. Dirty Sock, thank you for the jewels. Garrett, dude, you think I want the Yankees to win? I hate the Yankees. I hope they lose every fucking game. I'll be happy if the Yankees lose. It's just not going to happen. It is not happening. Saab, what's up? I have I am in agreement. One of those is on my, well, one of those sides is on my card, but I'm playing it in a different way. I don't, there's no way I'm going to give out Kansas City. I'll tell you that. There's no possible way. I don't know if I really love Seattle either. White boy, what's up, man? You're not going 4-0. I'm guaranteeing you're not going 4-0. You'll get the play right that I'm giving out, though. Maybe. I'm giving it out in a different way, though. All right, Atlanta. Oh, no, wait. We have to talk about Washington. What am I talking about? Cincinnati and Washington. Cincinnati has not decided on a starter here. Cincinnati's in some real trouble here, man. Hunter Green is injured again. So Cincinnati, I don't know if it was his turn in the rotation or not, but Cincinnati, they are lacking starting pitching big time. Other than Chase Burns, they got nobody. Washington is returning home from a road trip here, and it looks like their season is over. They've been playing horrific baseball recently. Their offense has fallen off a cliff. They just lost almost every game on the road trip. They only won one game, which was an extra innings win against Philly, where they scored more runs than it looks like they did. I think they only had 3 runs in the first 9 innings in that game. Now they're returning home from that awful road trip. Seems kind of similar to that Pittsburgh return spot, you know what I mean? Where it's like you're returning home, could be a distracted spot, you're playing against a bad team, and you just don't really have that much left to play for at this point. It seems like a bad spot to me for Washington here, man. However, they're going to have a starting pitching advantage here, so I can't come in and play the Reds here when you just have no idea what the pitching situation is going to be and what you're back. And what you do know is that these bullpens are both bad. The Reds used 3 relief pitchers yesterday. Washington used 2. But these are still bad bullpens. I would avoid both of them. Cincinnati's 25th, Washington 26th in bullpen. Washington's number 2 in offense still, but you can see their offense has been bad recently. Cincinnati is still worse at 20th, tied with the Phillies. But you might see poor offense on both sides here today, actually, believe it or not. Even though Washington, you think over when you see a matchup like this with 2 bad bullpens. I'm not so sure in this one, but again, we have no idea what Cincinnati's pitching is going to look like here. Cade Cavalli is getting the start for Washington. He's not bad. 3.52 ERA, 1.29 whip is still a little bit high, but he's pitching pretty well recently. Although he actually is worse at home, though. 3.82 home ERA here. Pretty good over the last month plus, though. He's allowed 3 or fewer earned runs in every start going all the way back into mid-June, so that's pretty good. His hit rate is still around 1 per inning, which is a little bit high. His walk rate is pretty low. Strikeout rate is high, so he does strike guys out, and he induces a lot of grounders as well. So he's got a pretty good pitching profile here. His numbers against Cincinnati, they really don't have much experience against him. Only Blade and Friedel have faced him before, and they're 2 for 4 with a double, which is Friedel with that hit there. 2 strikeouts, no walks. There's not a lot to take away from that. I mean, the numbers don't look good, but Cavalli is mostly unfamiliar to the Reds, so I think he does have a starting pitching advantage here. It's a bad spot for Washington, but they're going to have the starting pitching advantage here, so this game I'm definitely leaving alone. The money is backing Cincinnati and just playing the spot here basically without even knowing what Cincinnati's doing. 51% of tickets, 66% of the cash on Cincinnati. You're getting a pick'em price on this. That's, no thanks from me, but the money is indicating towards Cincinnati. Again, I think Washington's going to have the edge in the starting pitching at least, though. A first 5 play might make sense on Washington here. I don't know. I think if you're playing either side, I think you might want to make it a first 5 play. But, again, are you really going to have a starting pitching edge with whatever Cincinnati's doing? I don't really think so. So Washington first 5 maybe makes the most sense to me here. Still not going to do it because they're in a terrible spot. The money's also hitting the under 9 here. I mean, if you wanted to play an under, I mean, like I said, Washington, their offense has not been good recently. Maybe, I don't know, man. I mean, it's risky. Maybe you go first 5 under, and maybe you get there with that one. I wouldn't want to deal with the bullpens. You could do a Cincinnati under their team total if you want to, or get really granular with it and do Cincinnati first 5 under their team total. You'll need them to score probably 2 or less, though, against Cavalli, but that definitely could happen. Quick thoughts. What's up, man? I like to watch. That's correct. Everybody knows that. All right, the next game is one of my plays, Atlanta and the Yankees. I'm going to be honest. I think this is a cheap price, even though it looks juicy, but I don't think that it is. We're taking the Yankees on the money line at minus 145 here. I don't want to do it. I fucking hate the Yankees. I hope they lose, but this is what I'm doing. I think if you want to make it a run line play, you could do that as well and get the price down by making it a -1 run line, but I'm just like, whatever. If it's below minus 150, I tend to just go with the money line on this. And, you know, the professionals would be like, you can't lay the run line with the home team because they won't bat in the ninth inning necessarily. And the Yankees' offense hasn't been good recently. Yeah, that's true. But look at this pitching. You got to be kidding me with this pitching matchup. Also, the Yankees have a rest advantage, so the Yankees have another advantage here. They're also staying at home, and they just had a bad series against a pretty bad St. Louis team. The Yankees are going to get up for this game. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's going to happen. They had yesterday off. They're not traveling. Yesterday might help them disrupt this losing momentum they have. Atlanta looks way too hot right now. They've won 8 games in a row. They just beat Washington and Miami, but give me a break. Those teams, they blow. Give me a break. Neither of those teams are going to be in the playoffs. Yankees are a step up from those teams, even though the National League is better. The National League has had the upper hand in the interleague play, whatever. And I know the Braves are starting a road trip, which is typically a good spot. But again, we're fading we're taking a pitching advantage and a rest advantage here, man, okay? Atlanta does have a decent bullpen, but they used 5 guys out of the bullpen yesterday, and the Yankees have the better bullpen over the Braves as well. So we get the better bullpen and more rested bullpen with the Yankees here, in addition to the better starter and the overall rest edge here. Tyler Mahle is making his debut for the Braves. Yeah, good luck with that. This guy sucks. I don't know why they picked him up at the trade deadline. He's not good. 5.13 ERA, 1.39 whip. You might argue he'll get pumped up because he just went from the Giants to the Braves. So, yes, that is something to consider, that he might be excited to be on a team that's a contending team. But he's just not good enough. He's not good, and he's absolutely horrific on the road. Look at his road ERA this year, 8.04. Is that something you want to back? 326 opponent batting average. It's in a decent sample size, too. This guy gets murdered on the road. He fucking sucks. And he just pitched horribly on the road at San Diego. A terrible offense in a pitcher-friendly park. Now he's going to a hitter-friendly park in an offense that is capable of erupting, which is the Yankees. Yeah, good luck. He did have 9 strikeouts in that game, so I'll give him that. But other than that, yeah, this is nothing that you want to back. He's allowing more than 1 hit per inning. His walk rate is bad. His strikeout rate is mediocre. And you know what's coming. He's not good against the Yankees either, I'm pretty sure. Well, his batting average against is okay at 244, but they have an 823 OPS off him. They hit him for power. Goldschmidt and McMahon both destroy this guy. So the guys that used to be in the National League, basically both, the guys that have the most at-bats against him in the Yankees lineup, both have wrecked him. They have 82 at-bats against him, 24-8 strikeout walk ratio, nothing special either. Yeah, I'm going to fade Mahle here, and we're going to back Max Fried. You want to talk about a motivational edge? Well, yeah, Mahle's going to be excited maybe to pitch for his new team. Max Fried has not faced the Braves since being off of the Braves. So this is going to be he didn't actually, yeah, no, he hasn't. I checked. I looked at his schedule last year. He has not faced the Braves unless he faced them this year. I don't think he did. No. So Max Fried, you can check me if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this will be his first time facing his former team, which is a big deal when it's a big team like the Braves, and he spent his entire career with the Braves. They let him go. The Yankees, I think he might have been, was he a free agent? I don't remember. But the Yankees picked him up. This will be his first time facing his former team, which I think is a motivational angle. I think he'll be pumped for this. Fried has been good on the season. He's obviously the way better pitcher here. 3.12 ERA, 0.99 whip. He's not as good at home, I admit, a 4.43 home ERA. But if you look at his peripherals and whatever here, the numbers aren't even bad at home, so I don't know how his ERA is that high. Like, the home run rate is really low. He's literally allowed 1 home run on the season, it looks like here. So he doesn't allow home runs. His walk rate is, I guess, the problem. Yeah, that is it, I guess. His walk rate has been higher at home, but he has a very small home sample size so far. Yeah, he's allowed 1 home run on the season. He's got a low hit rate. His walk rate, if you want to pick at him, the walk rate is like the one problem that he has. It's not great, but the strikeout rate is like okay. He's not a huge strikeout pitcher. He has faced some of the Braves hitters before. They have 65 at bats against him, actually, and they have a 169 average against him. Is that good? Yeah. No, it isn't. It's good for him. It's not good for them. 467 opponent OPS against, 13-3 strikeout walk ratio. So, yeah, we get a bunch of edges here. We're playing the Yankees. Let me see. What does the market look like here? I think I made a pretty strong case for it. 56% of tickets, 81% of the cash on the Yankees. So the market read is saying the Yankees. I have no clue why the line dropped from minus 155 to minus 130 something here. You might be able to find a better price than I'm giving out right now. Let me see. Did the price actually go down? There's no way. Like, dude, this is like, I can't believe you're getting the Yankees at this cheap of a price. Yeah, you can get them at minus 130 right now. You got to be kidding me. And it looks like the money, according to this Wager Talk screen, the money is actually on the Yankees side, even though it's dropping. Like, there's not a pitching change, is there? If you're playing this game, pick the starters must start, obviously. Mahle and Fried both must start for this one, okay? If I don't specify otherwise, that is what I'm telling you to do, is pick both starters must start. But yeah, this line's down to minus 130. All right, give me a better number on it. Yeah, okay, let's do it. Yankees money line is the play in that one. I see no reason to not do that. Clint did not betray me. Fuck you. You don't know anything about what's going on, dude. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of my chat. Stop talking about shit that you have no idea. You have no clue what you're talking about. I like all of those guys still. I'm not taking sides one way or the other. You don't know what the fuck even happened. I think both of them were wrong. Clint and Top were both wrong in various ways, okay? So, yeah, like, I have nothing else to say about that. I like all those guys still. I'm friends with all of them still. Get the fuck out of my chat. I'm not picking sides here. No, pregame could suck my dick. Pregame is fucking dead to me. They're never going to fix their shit. It's about to be football season. They had the best free odds screen, and that hasn't been working since fucking April. Fuck pregame. The guys that are in charge of running that site, they seem to be like just totally absent. They're doing fucking nothing, except they're trying to still sell their picks. Good luck with that, because all the better handicappers are at this site, Wager Talk. So I'm not advertising for anybody. I'm just telling the truth here. All right. Next game up is Anaheim and Miami. Miami, they're dead, and they're returning home from a road trip. So we have a few teams that are like this, like teams that are like, yeah, you're not making the playoffs now, buddy, and you're returning home from a road trip that basically sealed your fate. It's not a good spot for Miami, returning home from that. They just got swept by Atlanta. That was a huge series. They couldn't get a game. They won the series in New York before that against the Mets, but whatever, it's the Mets. Do we really want to back Anaheim here? Probably not, but Anaheim did play yesterday. Both teams played yesterday. Anaheim did win yesterday against Baltimore, so Anaheim is still putting in some effort. I think Ryan Johnson actually must have pitched well in that game yesterday. Anaheim used 3 relief pitchers yesterday. Miami does have the better bullpen. They used 4, though. But Miami is the better bullpen. Miami is ranked 5th, although I don't think they're quite that good, as I keep saying. Anaheim's not good at 21st. So, yeah, Miami definitely is the better bullpen. Miami's been the better offense as well. They're 11th. We're looking at a pitcher-friendly park here, but Anaheim has definitely struggled offensively at 26th. And they got rid of some of their hitters at the trade deadline. Anaheim's going with George Klassen, which is an interesting... he's an interesting case here. He's really young, 24. His numbers look awful so far. This is his rookie season. 11.57 ERA, 3.64 WHIP is horrific. And you know why that's the case. It's because he walks everybody. He's only made a couple of starts so far, 2 starts in his career so far. He's thrown way too many pitches. He hasn't completed 3 innings yet. He's allowed more runs than innings pitched, more hits than that, and he's allowed more than 2 walks per inning. Yeah, you can't do that. But if you look at the scouting report on this guy throws like 100 miles an hour. So this guy has like an elite, elite fastball velocity. The problem is he's completely out of control. He walks everybody, and his pitch mix isn't really that deep. So I think he might need to wind up being a relief pitcher because he throws 100 miles an hour on his fastball. His second best pitch is a slider that kind of moves like a cutter. So I assume it's kind of a hard slider. And then he has a curveball, and then I guess he has a changeup that's not good at all. That's his arsenal. So he seems like more of a relief pitcher than a starter to me. I don't know what he's going to look like in this game. Obviously, he does have an unfamiliarity edge here, and he's capable of getting guys out, I would say, at the major league level, if he can somehow fix his command. Miami won't have seen him before, but things have not gone well for Klassen so far. So Clausen Pickles, what? So I don't think he's backable here. Tyler Phillips is pitching for Miami here. They basically converted him into a starter. He's a converted reliever, and he's been okay. 3.53 ERA, 1.35 whip is not really that good, but he's been good at home. 1.63 home ERA, and he's continuing to not allow that many runs. So he's kind of getting you like 4 or 5 innings when he goes out there, and he's keeping you in the game and not allowing that many runs, which is good. Although he doesn't have like elite stuff or anything. He can't strike guys out. His hit rate is decent. His walk rate is not really that good, though. So he doesn't strike guys out. He walks too many guys, but he isn't really that hittable, which is kind of a weird combination. I guess gets guys into a lot of soft contact. So again, advanced analytics guys will be like, yeah, no, we don't like this guy. Anaheim only has 3 hitters who have faced him, and they're only 1 for 6 off him with no extra base hits, 1 strikeout, no walks. So Phillips might actually do okay here. My read on this game is not strong. The money is coming in against Miami, and again, it's probably because of the price and the situation. They open minus 172. Like, I don't think they should be that heavy of a favorite with Phillips on the mound, probably against anybody. But the line did drop to like minus 162. We got 82% of the tickets, 79% of the cash on Miami. So they're a public side with the money coming in against them. The public will want nothing to do with Anaheim, with a pitcher with horrible numbers right now that they don't know who he is. But Klassen at least has his fastball alone at least tells you that he's probably at least better than his numbers look. But in this game, I mean, we're looking at some pitching that's not very good here. There might be more indicators towards an over here, and the money is coming in on the over. 64% of tickets on the under, 81% of the cash on the over, 8.5. Do what you want with that info, but whatever. By the way, I also, dude, I like Clint, and I'm going to see Clint fairly soon, by the way. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that or not. It's a very homoerotic situation. No, but I wasn't even kissing anybody's ass. I made a joke about liking to watch. That's all I fucking said. And then you're going to come at me because I'm not going to slander somebody? Fuck you. Get out of my chat. My favorite handicapper is not myself. So Marco DAngelo is my favorite. I've mentioned him on the show before. I've been following him for 2 decades probably at this point. He's on Wager. He was at pregame. He's one of the founders of Wager Talk because I think things were probably not going well at pregame. So he was like, no, I'm going to start my own thing, do it my own way, and like bring over some guys that I like and trust or whatever. Yeah, I like Marco. I mean, he handicaps all the major sports, and he also does horse racing and is a horse owner, I believe, as well, like a racing horse owner, and he's done that for a long time. So yeah, he's my favorite. I've learned the most from him. He's a situational handicapper, so I like the way that he handicaps. And even before, I was like an Austrian economist and was getting into human behavior makes sense here and how it affects like how human behavior like operates basically, and how that is really like the economy. But he kind of does that in his handicapping. I put 2 and 2 together after I started reading Austrian economics. I'm like, oh shit, that's crazy. Like the way I handicap is actually like an Austrian economic approach. But it was just what made the most sense to me, like way back 20 years ago when I started listening to him, and I'm like, oh yeah, this makes sense. I was trying to figure out like, how do I pick football games? That's how I got into it. I was playing poker for a bit when I was in college, and then the government made it illegal to do that online. So I was in the poker scene for a little while back then. I did some live tournaments as well. But, yeah, I switched over to sports partially because you could still do it, although You had to do, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say it here, but you had to find certain ways of doing that. The sports betting, whatever. But I did it also because I wanted to be better at predicting games to win like my pick'em leagues and stuff. So I don't think he's retired. No, I mean, he's on Wager Talk's channel doing videos like multiple times a week and whatever. And no, he sells his picks on there and whatever. He's definitely not retired. I mean, he bets for a living, so I'm sure he's still betting as well. But he gives out his picks on that or doesn't give them out. He sells them on that site, but he also gives out free ones as well. And he still does the Bet on It show, which I watch every week for football season. I like to compare my thinking with theirs, you know what I mean? So I like when I'm in line with them. All right, A's and the Red Sox. If you guys saw the Red Sox game last night, yeah, I don't want anything to do with either Sox team after that game last night. It was completely ridiculous. Wilson Contreras still didn't play, by the way, because he was sick. He got pulled from the previous game due to an illness. Missed yesterday's game. Hopefully he's back because he's one of the Red Sox best hitters, although I guess they didn't need him yesterday. But I was at a concert last night, sort of in the Fenway Park area, and I walked down to the Fenway area, and it was like almost midnight, and the crowd was just getting out. I'm like, what the fuck? Because like the game was like 7 o'clock, so I'm like, usually the game's gonna end 10 o'clock, like at the latest, and I'm like, the game is just getting out right now, and it's like midnight. I'm like, what the fuck happened in this game? Well, the game went 13 innings. The Red Sox became the first team ever to score in 5 innings in a row in an extra innings game. That's never happened before. They scored in the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. The Red Sox scored runs in all of them, although, again, that's partially because of the ghost runner. You got to get rid of the ghost runner, man, because, again, this was like a game that everyone's going to be talking about, a historic game. Everybody loves these games that go into massive amounts of extra innings, you know what I mean, because they're epic games, and you don't like it the day, you don't want to be a fan of that team the day afterwards, though, you know, like, at least they won the game, the Red Sox did, but I don't like their situation coming into the game today. You know what I mean? The bullpen is just absolutely shredded after that game. So it's a bad thing, but it makes for like really good entertainment. And people, you could tell people love that shit. Like that was one of the most epic games in the last couple of seasons. It's probably the most epic one since the Ghost Runner era. And people don't want more of that. Well, you're going to get more games like that if you get rid of the Ghost Runner, man. Even though you'll have fewer runs being scored, but the game, people like it when that game keeps going longer and longer, and it's suspense and like who's going to win. It's crazy. The other thing the Red Sox did in that game is because of the Ghost Runner again, the Red Sox erased 7 separate deficits in that game, although 5 of them were in the late innings, you know, whatever. But the Red Sox were losing 7 different times in the game, including losing 4-0 early in the game, and they wound up coming back and tying the game, I think, at 5, then fell behind again. The Red Sox tied the game in the 9th inning. It was crazy. Dude, the Red Sox are playing with a lot of intensity, man. That's what I got to say. They keep winning games. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think they're this good. I don't think there's value in them in like the future market at this point or anything like that. Like I said yesterday, they're the favorites now to win the AL, odds-on favorites. I wouldn't play that because they're just overhyped right now. But the good thing for them is they get to play the A's here, and the A's are not a good team. So maybe the Red Sox will be able to win this series, but I don't like the setup coming off of that epic game last night. I mean, you'd think it would be a letdown for the Red Sox. The thing is, I can't really come in and play the A's here either. Red Sox might have the better starting pitcher here or whatever still, so I don't really want to do that. The A's are playing some bad baseball. So this is a streak versus a streak, at least. Maybe you do come in and play the A's here, man. The A's have lost 8 games in a row, and the Red Sox, I think, have won 8 or 9 games in a row. So you have 2 streaks going in opposite directions here that are colliding here. But the Red Sox used everybody out of their bullpen yesterday, even though I know they have the best bullpen in baseball. They gave up some runs yesterday, but here, yeah, they used 8 relief pitchers yesterday. They used everyone. So this is not good. The Red Sox are going to need Tolley to get them deep in this game today, man. he has the ability to do that, but we'll see. The Red Sox are still number 1 in bullpen, though. They still have a really low ERA and whip, and the A's are a terrible bullpen. 28th, they're the worst bullpen ERA. Red Sox are actually now ahead of the A's in offense. The Red Sox are 15th now, and the A's are 18th. So this Red Sox offense, all of a sudden, not putrid, at least at this point. A's offense has been worse recently. Now, the A's might have a little bit of a revenge motive or something, or the Red Sox might overlook them because the Red Sox just went into Sacramento, into that terrible stadium, and won 3 out of the 4 games there, although every game was close. So you could take that kind of 2 ways, right? Like, the Red Sox might overlook the A's a little bit because they just beat them on the road 3 out of 4. But they might take them a little bit more seriously because every game was close. But, yeah, I mean, it could go either one of those ways, I guess, is what I'm saying. So I don't know. Jack Perkins is getting the start for the A's. He did pitch pretty well against the Red Sox in that series, and I think he's better than his 6.72 ERA suggests. He's got a 1.4 whip, which is still not really that good. But he's got strikeout ability, man. He's still pretty young, and the fact that he can strike guys out tells you that he's got some talent there. He's been better on the road, at least, although 5.97 ERA is still not good. But he's better away from that horrible A's stadium. He pitched well in that game against the Red Sox, like I said, although he was a little bit wild, but he one-hit the Red Sox into the 6th inning. Red Sox still won the game, but Perkins was difficult for them to hit. And Perkins struck out a lot of guys in his last outing against Detroit, but he gave up a lot of runs in that one. He was definitely hittable in that one, and that's kind of been his problem is he's actually been too hittable. Usually when you get guys that strike guys out at a rate like he does, he has a really high strikeout rate. Usually the walks are the problem, but with him, that's not really the case. His walk rate is somewhat okay. His hit rate is a bit high, so that's kind of an issue. And, yeah, he's allowed a lot of home runs, but even though this is a hitter-friendly park in Fenway, it's not the A's stadium, at least. Perkins has faced the Red Sox now. Now, that might mean the Red Sox might hit him better this time, right? Because the Red Sox hadn't seen him before the first time they faced him. And there's that unfamiliarity edge that a pitcher might have the first time he faces an offense. But now that the Red Sox just saw him, the Red Sox got to look at him, and now the Red Sox might hit him better. You know what I mean? But they didn't do well against him in that other game. They have 20 at-bats against him, actually, so they may have actually seen him other than that one outing. It looks like they saw him maybe in like a relief appearance or something as well. But the Red Sox only have a 100 average against him, 580 OPS, 5-5 strikeout walk ratio, though. So they were able to draw walks against him. But yeah, the Red Sox haven't done well against him. And actually, one of the hits, the home run that's against him, is one of the Red Sox trade deadline acquisitions, Jake Rogers, who didn't leave his mustache either, man. What's wrong with him? He grew out a full beard when he used to have this crazy mustache that made him look like he belonged in the 70s. But now he grew a full beard. Come on, man. Not that I mind the beard, but the mustache had an aura to it, you know. But it's hilarious that Rogers, the backup catcher that the Red Sox had, they got him with Rutschman in a throw-in. I think Rogers was like kind of a throw-in in that deal, I'm pretty sure. Something like, or no, yeah, I think Rogers was on Baltimore. I forget, because I remember him being on Detroit, but Rogers is on the Red Sox roster right now as their backup catcher, and maybe they should actually have him start today because he has a home run against Perkins, and he was not on the Red Sox when the Red Sox faced Perkins before, so that's kind of funny. Red Sox are going with Peyton Tolle here. He's been good, and dude, this guy gets fired up, man. I like his fire. He's in the dugout, you know, when he's not pitching, he's in the dugout during all these Red Sox games, and he's getting all fired up when the Red Sox are doing well and getting all pumped up. And he's one of the first guys out of the dugout when they win and just going crazy on the field. I'm like, fuck yeah. I like this guy's energy. I like his stash. I like big men that like to eat steak like Peyton Tolle does. Fuck yeah. 3.3 ERA for him, 1.15 whips. The numbers for him are good as well. He is a little bit worse at home, though. 3.72 home ERA, but still not bad. He pitched in that A's series, and he did reasonably well in that one. He pitched against Jack Perkins, actually, and wound up getting the win in that start, and he slightly outpitched Perkins in that game, mostly just because he had more strikeouts and fewer walks. Totally backed that up. He followed that up with a good start at the Dodgers as well. So Tolle's doing some damage against some good offenses here. That's a good sign. Going up against the A's, of course, they basically only saw him in that one start. He's held him to a 208 average, 698 OPS, 6.1 strikeout walk ratio, 24 at bats. I think maybe the only approach you could really take here maybe is to go first 5 under in this one and just go with the starting pitchers to use their talent to work their way through that. The full game total is 8.5. You're probably going to be looking at about 4, maybe 4.5 in the first 5, which isn't too bad of a number. 61% of tickets on the under, though. 54% of the cash on the over. Money looks like it's kind of backing the over here, but I think first 5 under makes some sense. I would avoid both bullpens, though. Red Sox bullpen, they're way too overworked here. A's bullpen is something you could never back, in my opinion. Red Sox are also just way too heavy of a favorite. They're at minus 260. After the Red Sox burned out their whole bullpen, I understand how bad the A's bullpen is. Yeah, that price is just not right. Like, should the Red Sox win this game? Hopefully, but they're in a tough spot coming off the way that game went last night. Huge emotional win to come back repeatedly in a game like that and go 13 innings. I want nothing to do with the Red Sox here. They got 94% of the tickets, 76% of the cash on them. So the money is fading them, and I guess taking the shot with the A's here. If you do play the A's, you're just playing them to kind of keep it close. I would still probably only do it in the first 5, though. And maybe it could be a low score. That kind of goes along with that under in the first 5. If it's a low-scoring game, it might mean the underdog is kind of hanging around in that game. All right, next game up is my last play of the day. So, this is the one where I agree with Pinsy, but I'm just playing the Cleveland money line here, minus 138. I know I don't love that price range really, but I think it's reasonable enough. And I think we have a lot going for us here with Cleveland. First of all, we're fading the White Sox because they were also involved in that game with the Red Sox yesterday. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. That would have been huge if the White Sox beat the Red Sox. The White Sox are now 0-6 against the Red Sox this year. White Sox also had a chance to end the win streak, the current win streak for the hottest team in baseball, basically. And the White Sox almost had it. It looked like they had it like 7 different times, basically, in the game and blew it every single time. That's going to be brutal for the White Sox to come off of that. Plus, they're also returning home from a road trip where they went to Tampa Bay and Boston, played some big games there. Now they're coming home, and they have a 3-game lead over Cleveland, who they're playing here now. Cleveland might have a little bit of extra motivation here for that reason, too, because Cleveland's behind them in the standings and still trying to win this division. Chicago, Minnesota, and Cleveland are all still trying to win this division. And Detroit's actually still playing with effort, too, hilariously, even though they sold off at the trade deadline. It would be very AL Central if Detroit won the division despite selling at the trade deadline. That seems like something that would happen in the AL Central. If you remember last year, Cleveland did that last year. Cleveland sold at the trade deadline, I'm pretty sure, and lost like some of their bullpen arms to gambling and whatever. And then Cleveland wound up winning the division somehow. Just completely ridiculous. It might happen with Detroit here. But anyway, it's a bad spot for the White Sox. The return home spot, even though you're playing against a team that's battling you in your division, you have a 3-game lead over them. So I think the team that has the 3-game lead might have the tendency to take their foot off the gas a little bit in a matchup like that. And I think it's just brutal for the White Sox to be coming off that extra inning game, no time off, having to return home from the road. Cleveland has an easier travel spot because they're starting a road trip coming in from Cleveland. That's a better spot. And when things aren't going well for you, like you get swept at home by the Mets, that's what happened with Cleveland. One of the best things for you, leave. Go out on the road. Don't listen to what the media is saying. Whatever. Just leave and go focus on baseball. That's what Cleveland's going to do here. Yesterday was an embarrassing loss for them. 13-6 to the Mets. Doesn't get much worse than that. So I think they're going to be in a bounce-back spot here. So I really like the situation for Cleveland here, but I also like the starting pitching, and we'll go full game on it because the situation is good enough. Plus, the White Sox have a burned-out bullpen. They used everyone except Newcomb yesterday. Duke Newcomb. Sean Newcomb was on the Red Sox for a little while, actually. Newcomb is kind of a long relief man, so he's not really anything special. And Eric Fetty only threw 5 pitches, so he might find his way into this game today too, but that's not a good thing if you're the White Sox. Fedde also took the loss in the game yesterday. I'm pretty sure he was in that last inning there. Brian Bayo, expert relief pitcher Brian Bayo, got the win in the game. I think he did get charged with 1 run last night. Maybe he didn't, but he got the win. He pitched the last couple innings there. Ridiculous. Brian Bayo is one of the best relief pitchers in baseball, but he sucks ass as a starter. Anyway, I'll back Cleveland's bullpen here, even though they used 5 guys out of the bullpen. They didn't really use any of their better relievers for the most. I mean, they didn't use Gaddis at least, and he's their closer, or Smith, who I think is one of their better relief pitchers as well. So I think Cleveland sets up better in the bullpen here. You could debate they're the better bullpen anyway. I think it's close. Cleveland's 19th, but their ERA is below 4, so it's not really that bad. The White Sox are 15th. They do have the better ERA, but it's not by much. And again, the situation is just really ugly for them here. Offensively, yes, I know Cleveland's offense is bad. They're 29th, but I like good pitching to overcome good hitting. White Sox are 16th right now in hitting, tied with the Rangers. They did put up some runs yesterday, but they were struggling in the series prior to that. Of course, it was against the Red Sox. The Red Sox have good pitching, but good pitching is what the White Sox are going to be facing here because Parker Messick is pitching for Cleveland. He actually took the loss, I think, in the first game in that Mets series. Cleveland couldn't get the job done behind Messick. They get another chance to get a win here behind Messick here, though. Messick has had a good season, 2.57 ERA, 1.06 whip. He's been even better on the road, 2.2 road ERA with a below 200 batting average on the road. That's really good. He struggled in that game against Arizona, but he threw too many pitches. He struck out a lot of guys. He only allowed 1 earned run, so he wasn't really that bad. Oh, actually, sorry, he didn't pitch in the Mets series. My mistake. I was thinking of this Arizona game. Cleveland somehow lost this game against Arizona, but it wasn't really Messick's fault. Although he was inefficient with his pitches for sure, but he only allowed 1 earned run, and the fielding wasn't very helpful behind him. Prior to that, he was pitching really well. Now, the one issue is his pitch count, his innings pitch, because he's a young guy who hasn't thrown this many innings before. He's up to about 130 now, so you might have to start worrying a little bit about that. But I think he might bounce back here, man. He's not throwing that many pitches. Like, they don't regularly have him throw 100 or whatever, so I'm not too concerned about this yet. He's got a low hit rate, pretty low walk rate here as well, decent strikeout rate. All his numbers look pretty good here. And against the White Sox, they have seen him a couple of times. They have 48 at-bats against him. They have not had success against him. They have a 188 average and 562 OPS off him, 13-4 strikeout walk ratio. So Messick has had the better of them, and he's the better pitcher here. He's going up against another young guy, Noah Schultz. I think Schultz might eventually be good, but he's struggling right now, especially with his wildness. He's got a 5.82 ERA, 1.38 whip. Isn't that bad. Like, it kind of indicates his ERA should be a little bit better, but it's not great either. Schultz is better at home. I'll give him that. 5.14 home ERA. He's been tough to hit at home, and he did just pitch well in Tampa Bay last time out, which is a decent sign. And they didn't overwork him. They took him out after 5 innings. Low pitch count in that one. He was very efficient in that game. So that does look good, but he was really, really struggling prior to that, and he's really been struggling with the walks, man. So I don't know if one start is really signaling a complete turnaround for him. He's been pretty difficult to hit, so that's good, but his walk rate is quite high, which is bad. His strikeout rate's not really that high. I want him to do well, maybe not in this game because I want to get this pick right, but I want him to do well just because I kind of like his profile, and I like tall guys that are at 6'10". You know what I mean? I want him to succeed, and because I'm not an asshole. What do you want? You think I am, but I'm not. But I don't know about this, man. Cleveland hasn't seen him before, though. Joe Adell faced him and is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. They got Adell over from Anaheim. So, yes, Schultz is unfamiliar to Cleveland, and their offense isn't really that good. So he does have an unfamiliarity edge here, but you saw what the situation looks like. It's a situational advantage for Cleveland. I know the price tag's a little bit high here on the road. It's gone up from minus 124 into the minus 130-something range here. The money looks like it's agreeing with me on this. 53% of tickets, 53% of tickets, 73% of the cash on Cleveland. So I think we're getting market agreement, at least on these two. And I thought we were getting agreement on the Mets as well, though I guess we're not. That's the weakest, I think, of the 3 plays. Maybe I shouldn't be on the Mets, but it is what it is at this point. Let's try to at least go 2-1 today, man. And we want to get these favorite plays right. You know, and as long as we go 2-1, we'll still have a winning day. But I'd rather get the favorites right than the underdog, you know, just because you're paying more for it. But yes, the money looks like it agrees. We'll do it. We'll take Cleveland here. I think it's a good spot to do it. I think we have the pitching edge there, and hopefully the bullpen advantage as well. So let's do it. Minnesota at Milwaukee. This is kind of a weird matchup here. Milwaukee is coming off that big series against Pittsburgh. Maybe it could be a little bit of a letdown because that was still a pretty big divisional series for Milwaukee. I don't know if they're really going to pay that much attention to Minnesota. Minnesota is trying to win their division. They might be a little bit more focused. And they just ended a 4-game losing streak. They beat the Royals yesterday. So both teams did play yesterday. Minnesota might be the team with a little bit more focus here, although obviously they have a big bullpen disadvantage here. Minnesota used 3 guys yesterday. So did Milwaukee. And Milwaukee actually didn't use McGill, even though it was a save situation. They had a 3-run lead, I'm pretty sure. Milwaukee's definitely the better bullpen. They're ranked 9th. They have one of the best bullpen ERAs still. They're like top 4 in bullpen ERA, which, by the way, I forgot to actually point out. Yankees are number 2 in bullpen ERA, and Braves are number 3, by the way, just to clarify what I said earlier. The Yankees have a considerably better bullpen ERA than Atlanta, by the way, and they're rested. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, the bullpen for... what are we talking about? Minnesota, yeah, they suck. They're 29th, yeah, obviously. Milwaukee has the better bullpen here. Milwaukee probably has the better offense, too. They're 8th, Minnesota 12th, tied with the Yankees and the Giants. But, yeah, I think Milwaukee does probably have the edge throughout this game, probably in the starting pitching as well. Minnesota's going with Zebulon Matthews again here. 5.22 ERA, 1.31 whip. Not too bad, but not great either. And Zebby has been really bad on the road. 7.33 road ERA. So you do not want to back him on the road typically, although he did actually do fairly well in his last road start. It was in a pitcher-friendly park in Seattle, and he had 10 strikeouts in 5 innings, which is pretty impressive, although he threw too many pitches. But he was able to strike a bunch of guys out. So there's that strikeout stuff that I kind of thought that he had. Over the course of the season, his strikeout rate has not been very high, though. His hit rate is right around 1 per inning, which is mediocre. His walk rate's not too bad, though. But I thought that he was a better strikeout pitcher than what he's shown this season. I don't really trust Zebby here, though. And I don't know why ESPN doesn't have his batter versus pitcher tab up. It looks like they sent him to the minors, but he pitched on July 31st in the majors, so it's not like he's had that much time off. I don't know what that was. Against Milwaukee, he's actually been pretty good against them, but they only have 5 hitters who have faced him, 7 at-bats, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks, 143 average, 476 OPS. The one hit is a single from Yelich. I got nothing really on that. It's a small sample size, but Matthews has done all right against Milwaukee when he has faced them. Milwaukee's going with Shane Drohan here. He's had a pretty good season, 3.48 ERA, 1.17 whip. Still not good enough for ESPN to actually give him a photo here, though. Drohan has been slightly worse at home, 3.73 home ERA, still not bad. Had a nice bounce-back start last time after he kind of struggled against the Rockies. Got kind of unlucky in that one, though. He pitched better again against Anaheim last time. I don't know. That's not that impressive. Anaheim, not a good offense. But Drohan has been pretty good all season. Low hit rate here, decently low walk rate, high strikeout rate as well. So good numbers here from him. Again, I think he's another one of the pitchers the Red Sox let go, which doesn't make me feel too good. Minnesota's never faced Drohan before, so he does have an unfamiliarity edge here too. So I think he does have the advantage in this pitching matchup here. Maybe Matthews will kind of turn it around after being sent to the minors here. I wouldn't necessarily disagree with the first 5 under here. I wouldn't really want to deal with Minnesota's bullpen. Full game totals at 8. We have 50% of tickets on the over, 78% of the cash on the under. I could see the argument for the first 5 under here. Maybe both pitchers actually do okay enough here. Milwaukee should have the advantage everywhere in this game, but you're paying for it. They're up to minus 180 something. 91% of tickets, 90% of the cash on them. So they're a very public side. But I wouldn't be able to play Minnesota here, you know. I mean, I guess it's all about the price. And if you do want to play Minnesota, I think you have to take them in the first 5 because they have a big bullpen disadvantage. Maybe Zebby can battle and kind of keep you in there in the first 5. Their bullpen sucks. I see no way of backing their bullpen, though. So I think, yeah, full game, it seems like Milwaukee has kind of too many advantages there. It's a stay away from me. This show is taking a while, but I'm getting to interact with the audience, though, so there you go. Cubs and Royals here. The Royals lost yesterday to Minnesota. Royals not doing well, but they are staying at home here at least. The Cubs had that makeup game where they got that bullshit win with the 2-out, 2-run home run in the 9th inning yesterday to beat our play, which I'm fucking pissed about, especially because the first 5 would have won, and I think I handicapped that game correctly. The Cubs used 4 guys out of the bullpen yesterday. They're still better than the Royals bullpen, who is not good, and used 5 relief pitchers. Cubs have a decent bullpen. They're 13th. Royals are ranked dead last in WHIP, and they're the second worst ERA to the A's. Not good. Cubs are pretty good offensively. They're 3rd, really good offensively recently. Royals 22nd, so the Royals are definitely the worst offense here as well. Saab likes the Royals here. I do not. I don't see the argument for it. Kevin Gausman will be making his debut for the Cubs here. He was starting to struggle with Toronto, but he's been pretty good over the last couple seasons, and he's a veteran, so I don't think he's done yet, and maybe getting traded to a contending team might help him get pumped up again, you know what I mean? He might be motivated in his first start with his new team because they're in contention, so he might get excited. He's got a 4.38 ERA, 1.29 WHIP. Those numbers have gotten worse recently. Gausman struggled on the road this year, 5.33 road ERA, but he pitched okay last time out against St. Louis. That was in Toronto, though. And he's kind of on his regular schedule here. So I actually think that's good that he's pitching on his regular schedule. Has the right amount of days off, so that's not bad. He was a little bit too hittable in that start against St. Louis. So really, he wasn't bad in his last 2 outings. He was decent against the Red Sox in the start before that, too. But he got absolutely no run support in that one. What else is new? Does have kind of a high hit rate on the season, which is a little concerning. His walk rate's not bad, though. Strikeout rate is not bad either. So really, he hasn't been bad. He's going up against the Cubs here, though, who are definitely a lineup that can hit. The Cubs haven't done well against Gausman, though. Or no, he's going up against the Royals. I'm an idiot. What am I saying? Gausman is on the Cubs. My mistake. Sorry. He's going up against the Royals. I think the Royals actually have hit him well. Kind of. In 75 at-bats, 267. Because I was going to say, I don't remember that. 267 average against him. 762 OPS is a little bit high. In 75 at-bats, 12-3 strikeout walk ratio. They still don't really, totally destroy him, though. Although Marte and Witt both hit him pretty well. So I don't really want to back Gausman here, but I think Saab is insane for trying to back Kansas City. I think if you're going to play this game, you probably shouldn't pick a starter for Kansas City here because it's going to be a bullpen game for Kansas City. Is that really what you want to back, by the way? One of the worst bullpens in baseball going with a bullpen game against a good offense like the Cubs? I wouldn't do that. Daniel Lynch the fourth looks like he's getting the start for the Royals, as at least that's the way it looks now. But again, if I was going to play this game, I wouldn't pick a starter for the Royals here. I would just pick Gausman must start, but not pick the starter for the Royals. Lynch has been good. There's no doubt about that, but he's not going to give you that many innings here. He's a relief pitcher. He typically goes about 1 inning. He has started before in his career, so he might pitch more than 1 inning here. And if he does, that will help. I think keeping the rest of the Royals bullpen out of this is probably going to help for as long as they can. But Lynch, the Cubs have seen him only for a couple of at-bats, but Bregman does have a hit off him. Bregman, who I don't even want to talk about anymore at this point. A guy who's no longer on the Red Sox and destroyed our bet that should have won on Toronto yesterday. Although I'm more mad at Varland for that. Anyway, I don't trust the Kansas City bullpen game, man. I'm sorry. I think the way to play this game is to just play it over the total. Gausman, doesn't have great numbers against Kansas City. I don't expect much out of a Kansas City bullpen game. The money's back in the under. I don't agree with that. 64% of tickets, 93% of the cash on the under. The total's pretty high at 9 or 9.5, although it is Kansas City. They moved the walls in, so it's not that high for a Kansas City game at this point, but still, I think that's how I would do that, is probably to play the over. I think the runs will come home in that one. All right, Baltimore and Texas. On the surface, to me, this actually looked like it might be potentially an under. Another one of those Texas home unders. Texas is staying at home. they've started playing some more low-scoring games recently at home. 2 out of the 3 against San Francisco went under with 2 offenses that aren't really that good. Texas is staying at home here. I believe Texas had yesterday off as well, so Texas has a rest advantage here. Baltimore lost to Anaheim yesterday, and they have to travel. Although they're starting a road trip, there's an advantage for Texas still because Texas is rested after yesterday, so we'll see if that helps their bullpen that hasn't been pitching well recently. Baltimore used 3 guys out of the bullpen yesterday. Baltimore has been the better bullpen generally. They're ranked 12th. Texas is ranked 18th, but Texas was better last year than Baltimore was, and given the rest edge, I think it's close between the 2 bullpens here in this one. I think it's close between the offenses as well. Texas is 16th, Baltimore 19th. We'll see. But Texas, again, they do have the rest advantage. They're staying at home. Shane Baz is pitching for Baltimore. He's actually been pitching reasonably well recently. He's got a 3.86 ERA, although his whip still isn't very good. 1.37. He's been a little bit worse on the road, ERA-wise, 4.01. But he's been less hittable on the road. So, interesting. His walk rate goes up on the road, but his batting average against goes down. He pitched really well last time out at home against Philadelphia. Decent sign. He's been pitching okay recently, although some of these outings not going that deep into them. But he hasn't really had an actual bad outing for a while here, so he is pitching pretty well right now. His hit rate is still kind of high on the season, though, which isn't good. His walk rate is still, I would say, kind of slightly high as well. Strikeout rate is still not really that good either, although I thought he was a decent strikeout pitcher. But he does have good numbers against who is he facing again? Texas, right? Yeah. Texas, Baz has been good against them. 19 at bats. I know it's not a big sample. 6 hitters have faced him. 158 average. 501 OPS allowed. 5-2 strikeout walk ratio. So I would say Baz does have the upper hand here. Nathan Eovaldi is pitching for Texas. I don't know what's going on with Eovaldi. It's been the home runs have just killed him this year. The rest of his numbers are really good, but the home runs make him look bad. 4.31 ERA. 1.21 whip, I guess, isn't really that good at this point either. He was way better last year. But again, if you look at his numbers overall, he's still not really that bad. He's been better at home, although a 4.14 ERA isn't exactly good, but 222 opponent batting average at home is good. And again, it's been the home runs, which kind of makes no sense because he pitches in a pitcher-friendly park. He did get shelled last time on the road against Houston, but I believe Houston typically does hit him well. So I'm not going to really put that much weight into that, but he did struggle a bit in a few of his recent starts here. Like 2 of his last 3 have been bad, but they were both on the road. One was against the Braves. So Houston and the Braves, both of those teams can hit better than Baltimore can, really. Eovaldi on the season, his hit rate is still not really that high. His walk rate is pretty low. He doesn't really walk guys. He still has his strikeout stuff. And the weirdest thing is he's a ground ball pitcher. He gets a lot of ground balls, yet he's allowed a ton of home runs this year, too, which really makes very little sense to me. But what I can really kind of sink my teeth into here is that Eovaldi is actually horrific against Baltimore. Baltimore has 38 at-bats against him. I thought it would be more because Eovaldi pitched for the Yankees for a while, I think, and for the Red Sox. So he was in Baltimore's division. But Baltimore in those 38 at-bats, they have a 447 average against him and a 1,105 OPS, 10-3 strikeout walk ratio. Gunnar Henderson particularly destroys him and has the most at-bats against him. So I don't want to back Eovaldi here. Texas does have the rest edge here, so it seems like a spot where you'd want to back Texas because Texas is going to be more motivated as well. They've finally gotten back on track with 2 wins. Texas is right there in the AL West right now, man. So Texas has something to play for, whereas Baltimore doesn't really. I don't think it's enough, though. I just can't back Eovaldi given what the matchup numbers look like. 70% of tickets, 79% of the cash on Texas, though. So the money is backing Texas. They're around minus 140. I mean, I gave you the arguments for Texas if you do want to do it. The arguments would be rest advantage, motivational advantage. That's what you're getting. And generally, I would say Eovaldi is better than Baz, but in this matchup, I don't think he is. So I think Baz does have the matchup edge. The money is still backing the under for whatever that's worth at 7.5. And maybe, I mean, I don't think I'd play an over in this game. I think you do have at least, I think you might actually have 2 all-right bullpens here still, at the very least, and both starters are capable of doing well in this game. Plus, I don't think the offenses are anything that special, so Yeah, I think there are more arguments for an under than an over still in that one. And the total's low for a reason at 7.5, but there's not a lot of leeway there given what Eovaldi's numbers look like and the fact that Boz could potentially be shaky at any given point. All right, I'll take a break. I'll be right back. Finish the rest of this off. Snoop, what's up, man? Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for checking out the show. All right, give me a second. I'll be right back. Yep. Inside, I want to kill myself. We are on an 0-7 run over the last 2 days. After tonight was just complete bullshit. So that's how I'm going to start off this show. Horrible Sunday, 1-5. I don't even know what to tell you about that. I just don't want to do this anymore. I have never seen anything like this, man. With the slump continuing, 2 straight losses, not a good day at all. 0-4. I just have not had a good season, man. What can this slump that I'm on? The slump continues. I've reached a new peak, actually. I'm gonna burn my Bruins hat, man. I don't know what is going on with the Bruins. March 8th, is that what it is? I don't even know. It's March 9th, I think. Who even knows, man? I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't even know what day it is anymore, man. Back with you after the worst day that I could possibly have. Back with you, as I always am. Until I die, at least. 0-2 yesterday, and yesterday did not go well for me. 0-5. The worst month that I've ever had in my 18 years doing this. I don't know what to even tell you about this anymore. Broke the slump yesterday as the slump continues. The slump continues. Somebody fucking kill me, please. I don't even know what I should do at this point other than potentially end it all. What's up? All right, we're back. Getting some good traction on the show this morning, by the way. Maybe I need to yell at my viewers more. All right, Colorado and St. Louis. This is a pretty ugly series between 2 teams that are not going anywhere, in my opinion. St. Louis, but we're only 15 games back in the division. No, yeah, good luck trying to get a wild card in the NL. St. Louis did just win a series against the Yankees. They're returning home from the road. They do have a day off, I'm pretty sure, but it's a bad spot. I think it's a letdown spot potentially for St. Louis after beating the Yankees 2 out of 3 and returning home from the road, going to Toronto and the Yankees. And Colorado, an easy team to overlook as well. So I think in a distraction spot in the return home like that, plus playing a bad opponent, I don't think it's a very good spot for St. Louis. Colorado, I believe, also had yesterday off, and they're starting a road trip, which might be good because they just got swept at home by Tampa Bay. They're going out on the road now. Should be more of a positive spot for them. Just forget about what happened at home, go out on the road. Although their offense might take a dip here because they're going from very hitter-friendly Coors Field to very pitcher-friendly Busch Stadium or whatever the hell it's called now. So both bullpens are rested, but I still would not trust either bullpen. St. Louis is the better one at 22nd, Colorado 27th. Still don't like either one, though, even if they are rested. Colorado's been the better offense at 5th, although, like I said, they might not hit as well in this stadium. St. Louis has been pretty weak offensively, though, at 25th, and they got rid of some of their guys at the trade deadline. Colorado's got Ryan Feltner on the mound. I'm not sure that I really want to back him in order to fade St. Louis. It would be really about the spot if you're going to do it. Feltner, 5.75 ERA, 1.46 whip, not very good because, of course, Colorado cannot attract good pitching, as I've been saying. Feltner is actually worse outside of Coors Field, believe it or not. His road numbers are worse, which is crazy. 6 ERA on the road and a 3.09 opponent batting average. Yeah, that's bad. That also makes me not want to come in and back the Rockies here. It's difficult to find a pitcher who you really want to back with the Rockies, man. Feltner he was okay in his last start against Kansas City in Coors Field, by the way, but he struggled in the 2 starts prior to that. He's got kind of a high hit rate here. His walk rate isn't really that great. He's allowed a decent amount of home runs here, although some of that is Coors Field, of course. Low strikeout rate, kind of. I mean, none of this is really very good. However, I do think he actually does pitch well against St. Louis, and they're not a very good offense, so he might do okay here, given that it's a pitcher-friendly park and a weak offense. They have 21 at-bats against them across 5 hitters. One extra base hit is a home run from Mason Wynn, but they only hit 143 off Feltner with a 429 OPS, 6.0 strikeout walk ratio. So Feltner at least draws a decent matchup here. St. Louis is going with Kyle Leahy, and he's kind of turned his season around. He's been better recently. He's got a 3.44 ERA now, and I was making fun of him a lot early in the season, although he's still not as good as his ERA makes him look. His whip is 1.33, which is not excellent. He's been pretty good at home, though, 2.95 home ERA. And he's been pitching well recently. Like I said, he's going deeper into some of these outings. He's just getting absolutely no run support here. But he's allowed very few runs recently. 2 or fewer earned runs allowed in whatever this is, 7 straight starts, I think. That's pretty good. One was a shortened outing, but the rest were all like full starts. Yeah, he's actually pitching fairly well right now. His hit rate is still above 1 per inning on the season, though, which isn't great. But his walk rate's not really high at this point. His strikeout rate is, I would say, kind of mediocre. Doesn't really strike guys out, but he is kind of pitching effectively right now. Numbers against the Rockies, pretty good in 17 at-bats. They don't have too many at-bats against them, but they have 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, 118 average, 402 OPS. I think first 5 under is the way to play this game, man. It's a pitcher-friendly park. Both pitchers look like they actually match up well. I don't think anybody's going to want to back the under in a game with these 2 starters on the mound, but the money seems like it agrees with me on this. I wouldn't include the bullpens, though. I mean, the bullpens are just awful, although at least they are rested. Full game total's 8.5, but yeah, I would go first 5 under if I was going to play this one. 66% of tickets on the over, 84% of the cash on the under, so the money seems to be agreeing with me on the under. I mean, of course, I do have some concerns with it, like Feltner sucks in general and sucks on the road. And that's also kind of why I wouldn't want to back Colorado, although the money is coming in on Colorado. Some of it is the price. Again, St. Louis has gone all the way up into the minus 170 range here. 85% of the tickets on them. Of course, Colorado gets no respect in the market. They're the Rodney Dangerfield. And they're hilarious in how bad they are. Sorry, Dirty Sock. 69% of the cash on Colorado there. It kind of makes sense because, again, it's about the situation being bad for St. Louis, and it's about the price as well. If you wanted to try to back Colorado, I would only do it in the first 5, though. And you'd be backing them to just keep it close as an underdog there. You know what I mean? Like a half run on the run line or whatever. All right, Houston, San Diego. San Diego's returning home, but they were only on a single series road trip in Arizona, but it was a big series. They're like locked in a battle with Arizona right now in the NL West, battling for a wild card spot, basically, because the Dodgers are still going to run away with the NL West. I thought they were going to win this division by 20 games. It looks like they're not going to now, but they're still going to win the division. San Diego, though, yeah, that was a big series. So even though it's only quick return home spot, it's still kind of difficult because that was a big series against Arizona. Now they're facing a Houston team that's out of league here, an interleague game. Not out of their league, yeah. Houston is starting a road trip, but it is a West Coast trip. And, you know, I talk about these more easterly teams going out west for a late-night game. Sometimes it messes with their biological clock, which I don't like because starting a road trip normally is a positive, but I don't really like the time zone shift. Although Houston getting out of home might be good because they did just lose to Toronto. They also had yesterday off. I believe San Diego didn't, if I'm not mistaken. I think, does Houston have, hold on. Yes, I'm right. Houston does have a rest advantage here. Houston did not play yesterday. San Diego did. So both teams are having to travel a little bit, but Houston has a rest advantage here. So that might help them a little bit because San Diego normally has the better bullpen, but they used 4 guys yesterday, including Mason Miller, although he might be available again today because he didn't pitch for multiple days prior to that. Houston's been pretty good out of the bullpen recently, though. They're ranked 11th, San Diego 8th, so there's not that much of a gap between the two bullpens. And given the rest scenario, I think the bullpens are pretty close. Houston is the better offense. They're ranked 6th. San Diego is 24th, although San Diego's gotten a little bit better recently. This is a pitcher-friendly ballpark here, though, in San Diego. Houston's going with Ronel Blanco, who has bad-looking numbers so far this year, but it's in a small sample size. 7.36 ERA, 1.3 whip is not great, but it does indicate his ERA should be lower than the hideous ERA that he does have. Blanco is kind of interesting because he's not young. Hasn't pitched in the league that much, but he did actually pitch well back in 2024. He had a really good season with Houston, but it's kind of hard to tell if that was a fluke or not. Last year, he did pitch pretty well for Houston as well. Then he got injured, and he's kind of struggled so far this year. He's made 3 starts, hasn't really done well in any of them so far, so he's hard to trust right now. His strikeout stuff is there. He's striking out more than one guy per inning, so that's a good sign that he does have his stuff, but he's been wild. That's been his main concern here, is he's walking too many people. So if he stops doing that, I think he'll turn it around a bit. He does have a reasonably low hit rate here, but I don't know if he's fully trustworthy right now, even though you are getting the rest advantage with Houston if you do want to play them here. He's drawing a decent matchup here because San Diego's not a great offense, and this is a pitcher-friendly park. San Diego only has 3 guys who have faced him, and they're 0 for 9 off him with 2 strikeouts and 1 walk. So he's done well against them when he has faced them, and he might do well here. San Diego's going to go with Robbie Ray, who they picked up from the Giants at the trade deadline. Robbie Ray going to a divisional rival here. I don't really think Ray is really that good, man, to be honest, but he might be pumped up because he's pitching for a team that's at least kind of in contention, so leaving the Giants for the Padres might pump him up a little bit. And one good thing is that he did pitch well at home when he was on the Giants, which I'll show you in a minute, the splits. Going from a pitcher-friendly park in San Francisco to another pitcher-friendly park in San Diego should be okay for him, and it's a park that he's familiar with pitching in because it's in the division, so that might help him out a little bit. His overall numbers are not too bad here. 3.08 ERA, 1.29 whip does indicate his ERA should be higher than that, though. But like I said, he pitched well at home with San Francisco, 2.22 home ERA with a 192 opponent batting average. So if he can continue doing that here in San Diego, he might be able to keep that up. Obviously. Yeah, that's a redundant statement. You know what I mean. He might be able to do that. He just pitched. His last start was actually in San Diego, so that's hilarious. I hope he just stayed there. I hope he just took some time off, just hung out around in San Diego. I don't know, but he literally just pitched in San Diego against San Diego in his last start with the Giants, and he did well in that start. So that's a decent sign. He has a pretty low hit rate here, but his walk rate is too high. The walks have been the issue with him. His strikeout rate is just kind of mediocre, but he's got to fix the walk issue. That's the one thing that's really holding him back. He'll be going up against Houston here, which is a pretty good offense, better than the San Diego offense he just faced, which is now backing him. He's not been good against Houston. He has 54 at-bats against them. Only 6 hitters have faced him, though. 8 to 6 strikeout walk ratio is not good. 5 home runs allowed is not good. 315 average allowed, 1,069 OPS. None of that is good. I think I got to lean Houston here, man. It looks like they have the better pitching matchup here, and they might be a little bit under the radar for that reason. Houston's got the rest advantage here, and San Diego is returning, at least from a quick road trip, and it was a big series for them. The money's kind of indicating on San Diego, but I don't really see it. 58% of the tickets on San Diego, 66% of the cash. They're at about minus 117 here. They've dropped a little bit since their opener in the minus 120, so it looks like some of the money initially did come in on Houston. I think that's what I would do, and maybe you're okay to back the bullpen here too because they do have the rested bullpen, so it might be a situation where you can get away with going against San Diego's bullpen there. You could go first 5 with Houston too if you wanted to, just focus on the starting pitching matchup. Maybe that's still the better approach because you'll get San Diego early in the game and they might be struggling with the return home a little bit. But I still don't really love Houston. Obviously it's not on my card, but I already gave you the negatives with Houston. Like the travel out west is not necessarily great, and Blanco just has struggled so far. So do what you want with all that. Dodgers at Arizona. Dodgers, they got to turn something around here, man. They don't want Arizona to get too close to them. So this might be the time where the Dodgers say enough is enough. Arizona's in second place right now behind them in this division. This might be the spot where the Dodgers come out and actually win and stop their opponent. D-backs, they're not going to overlook LA, obviously, and they're staying at home, but the D-backs did play yesterday. They played a tough series against San Diego. The Dodgers have a rest advantage. The Dodgers didn't play yesterday. Dodgers are coming in from Chicago, though, so they are having to travel from Chicago, or having to travel across a couple of time zones, I should say, or at one time zone. I don't know. What the fuck time zone is Arizona even in? I have no idea. But the Dodgers have lost 6 games in a row to the Red Sox and the Cubs, although those are two teams that are playing well right now. They're probably both better teams than Arizona is. Arizona did have to use some of their bullpen yesterday, so they might be at a little bit of a disadvantage there. They used 3 guys out of the bullpen. Dodgers' bullpen's been struggling recently, so they got to fix whatever's going on with them. They're ranked 10th right now. Not the greatest bullpen for the Dodgers. Diamondbacks are 7th, but they still have a worse ERA than the Dodgers, and they're unrested, so the Dodgers may still have a bullpen advantage here. Dodgers is still number 1 in offense. They obviously have a big offensive edge, and they're good on the road as well offensively. Arizona's 23rd, which is a lot worse than LA. LA's going with Roki Sasaki here, although he's been pitching fairly well recently, so he's kind of gotten back into a groove here, and maybe he's finally doing it, man, and you're finally figuring out how to be a starter. He's got a 4.64 ERA, 1.3 whip. I know those are not great numbers. He's been still worse on the road, 4.81 road ERA, but he's been getting better. And like I said, recently he's been pitching a bit better. The Dodgers have won his last 5 starts, so that's not a bad sign. He's definitely been pitching better. He's got a reasonably low hit rate here. His walk rate's still a little bit high, but not too bad. His strikeout rate is fairly high, so he strikes out more than 1 guy per inning, which is not bad, although some of this was bullpen work as well. Although when he was working out of the bullpen, he was mostly throwing a lot of innings still out of the bullpen. The major concern with him really is actually the home runs. He's allowed too many home runs. Even though he's not really a huge fly ball pitcher, he's somewhat of a fly ball pitcher. And maybe you have to be a little bit concerned about that in Arizona's stadium. But Sasaki's been good against Arizona so far. They have 15 at-bats against him, although, yes, that does mean that now that they've seen him, maybe they'll hit him better. But they only have a 133 average against him, 635 OPS, 2-2 strikeout walk ratio. Sasaki, yeah, he might do well here, and he's going up against Merrill Kelly for Arizona. Kelly, it looks like his career might be ending, man. This season has not gone well for him. I thought he was going to turn it around, and it looked like he was doing that, but maybe not the case. 5.04 ERA, 1.49 whip, not good. He's been really bad at home, 6.33 home ERA. He failed to get out of that inning, the 5th inning last time, but I tried to back the under in the first 5 in his last game against Cleveland, and he unraveled in the 5th inning, blew it for us, and then they still, the under still hitting the full game, so that really, really pissed me off. Kelly, had some walk issues there. It didn't go well, though. He was pitching reasonably well leading into that, man, which is part of the reason why I backed him, is he had a really good month of July, so he was actually in good form. Maybe he's fallen out of form again. He has kind of a high hit rate on the season, which isn't good. He's allowed a lot of home runs, too. His walk rate also isn't really that good. His strikeout rate is low. So there really isn't much to like here overall. None of these numbers are good. So maybe I shouldn't have fully backed him in that one. I don't know, man. And he's going up against a tough lineup here. The Dodgers are not Cleveland. The Dodgers have hit Kelly pretty well. They have 177 at-bats against him. They're very familiar with him because he's been on Arizona for most of his career. 32-21 strikeout walk ratio against him. That is a really bad ratio. 282 batting average allowed, 878 OPS. None of those numbers are good. So I think if you're going to play this game, I think you got to find some way of backing the Dodgers here. I think they're going to bounce back, but they're public and they have a really high price tag on them at minus 170 basically here, which is pretty difficult to actually back that with, Sasaki being their starter, 89% of tickets and cash on the Dodgers. Makes it pretty difficult to do. And maybe Sasaki is a bit of a wild card here still. So I guess what you could do is maybe play the Dodgers team total over just to find a way to play the Dodgers to bounce back in some way, but just play them to unload on Merrill Kelly and then this Arizona bullpen that's not really rested here and not really that good. That might be what I would do, although you're probably going to be asking the Dodgers to score at least 6 in this game if you do that, but they are a better road offense as well, so they're certainly capable of getting it done in that one. All right, so that would be my recommendation there. Apple TV has this 2-game event here. The games are going to overlap, Baltimore, Texas, and Tampa, Seattle. My guess is Tampa, Seattle is probably going to get the bigger viewing audience here, since it's 2 teams that are in contention here. Seattle just had another hideous loss to Detroit. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. 11-0. What the hell? What is going on with Seattle, man? 2 miserable shutout losses to Detroit at home. This Detroit team, like I said, that's sold at the trade deadline, but they're still trying to win games. This could be a bounce-back spot for Seattle, though they're staying at home off just a horrendous-looking loss, and they need to get some wins fast because the only way they're going to make the playoffs is by winning their division at this point, and they got to start turning something around as far as that's concerned. Tampa Bay is certainly going to make the playoffs. At the very least, they'll be a wild card, but they also have a pretty nice lead in the AL East right now. Yankees have been losing some games recently. The Red Sox are climbing up the standings, obviously, but Tampa Bay is hanging on in that division, which kind of surprises me. I still kind of think the Yankees are going to wind up winning the division somehow. But Tampa Bay, they're starting a road trip here, I think. No, my mistake. They're in the middle of a road trip, so that actually makes it easier for them. They're coming in from Colorado, and they also didn't play yesterday. I believe both teams were off yesterday. No, Seattle, my mistake. Seattle played yesterday, my mistake. So Tampa has a rest advantage here. So that should help Tampa Bay out a little bit. Yeah, Seattle used 3 relief pitchers yesterday. Seattle, I think, is the better bullpen, though. Even though Tampa Bay is ranked 3rd, Seattle is ranked 16th, but Seattle's ERA is better. I think they're the better bullpen, but it's close. And Tampa's the more rested bullpen here, so it's close between the 2 bullpens. Tampa's the better offense. They're ranked 9th, tied with Detroit, hilariously. Seattle's 28th. Their offense still hasn't figured it out. When I first looked at this game, though, my thought was this is going to be an under on my card, but when I looked into the matchup, I wasn't able to do it. But looking at the starting pitching, this really looks like an under game to me, even though it looks like it should be a bounce back for Seattle as well. But when you look at the numbers here, they're both off the table for me. Drew Rasmussen is pitching for Tampa Bay. He's been good. 2.91 ERA, 0.93 whip, really good. And he's not that much worse on the road either. 3.07 road ERA. And plus, this is a pitcher-friendly park here in Seattle. Rasmussen has been really good recently, too. No runs allowed in each of his last 2 starts. 2 shutout wins where he didn't even get any run support and still got a win in both of them. So he's playing in some under games here, too. He's got a low hit rate, low walk rate, a high strikeout rate, too. Rasmussen's good, man, just across the board. And he's also good against Seattle for the most part. 222 average allowed, 706 OPS. Maybe not great, but not horrible. In 45 at-bats, 12-1 strikeout walk ratio is good. So everything's still looking good for that under until you look at Logan Gilbert here for Seattle. Even though I think he is generally good. He's got a 3.46 ERA, 0.99 whip. He's struggled at home this year, 4.12 home ERA. But if you look at his overall numbers at home, it's been fluky, big-time fluky. It's been the home run ball. He's allowed 16 of the 17 home runs he's allowed at home in this Mariners Stadium, which is not even a home run conducive stadium. It makes no sense, but he's completely turned it around. If you look at what's happened, although I know he allowed 2 home runs last time at home, but he only allowed 3 runs against Minnesota, and he's really had 5 pretty good home starts in a row. So he's pitching better at home, so I think that was a little bit unlucky for him. He's got a low hit rate on the season, low walk rate on the season. I know the home run's a little bit of a concern still, high strikeout rate still, so these numbers do all look pretty good across the board here. The problem is he's not good against Tampa Bay, and that's where I have to put an end to all this talk about maybe wanting to play Seattle or an under here. I just can't do it because he's got 54 at-bats against Tampa, and they've had the upper hand against him. They have a 296 average and 782 OPS against him, 11-5 strikeout walk ratio, so I'm going to leave this game alone. I would still lean towards an under in this game. It still looks like an under to me. Money seemingly kind of disagreeing, though. The total's really low. It's at 7. And again, I always say it's low for a reason. I think you have 2 good enough bullpens here, 2 good enough starters that it should be a low-scoring game. 63% of tickets, 59% of the cash on the under, though. Do with that what you want, but I still think the under might be the best approach here. The money is coming in on Seattle, 75% of tickets on Tampa, 68% of the cash on Seattle. And I think the public is going to say, well, Tampa Bay is an underdog, and they're the better record. With Rasmussen on the mound, it looks really, really easy to play Tampa Bay with their best starter on the mound being an underdog and having the better record. Yeah, the public is going to be all over something like that. So it looks way too easy to play Tampa Bay, and I don't like it when it looks too easy. More often than not, that's not the case, and that's part of the reason why the money's playing Seattle. But you just saw the matchup numbers. the matchup numbers just take it off the table for me, man. I'm sorry. And Tampa Bay does have a rest advantage too, like I said. So that also kind of hurts Seattle a little bit here. I can't do it. Yeah, I think if I was going to play the game at all, I'd probably take the under. But, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do it. Detroit at San Francisco is the last game here, and this was going to be Tyler Mahle starting for San Francisco, and instead he's pitching for the Braves, and San Francisco might be happy about that by the end of the day. San Francisco is not playing well right now. They sold off at the trade deadline. Their offense is kind of falling back into their old bad ways, and they're returning home from a road trip where they went to San Diego and Texas, so they're having to travel back to the Pacific Coast time and play a late game. That's not good. So San Francisco's at numerous disadvantages here. Why am I not playing Detroit in this game is the question. It looks like I should be on Detroit here. San Francisco returning home from a road trip, bad, negative spot. They're a bad team, which I think makes the spot even worse. Detroit looks like they're still playing motivated baseball, and San Francisco might not be, so that's another indicator towards Detroit. San Francisco's having to travel across time zones here and go back to the West and adjust to a late-night time here, which is also going to be a disadvantage because Detroit is already in that time zone. Detroit was just in Sacramento, and then they went up to Seattle. Now they're coming back down to the Bay Area, and Detroit's won 5 of their last 6 games, so they're still playing well. So, yeah, I think Detroit makes a lot of sense to look at in this game for a whole bunch of reasons. Already adjusted to the time zone as well. Detroit did play yesterday, though, so that's one thing. San Francisco does have a rest advantage here, so that is one thing that takes away from it a little bit, is that Detroit is not rested, and San Francisco is. Detroit only used 2 relief pitchers yesterday, though, so their bullpen's in decent shape, and I think they're probably the better bullpen. They're ranked 17th. San Francisco's kind of struggled out of the bullpen. They're 24th and got rid of Eric Miller and I think a couple of their other relief arms as well. I don't buy that San Francisco's 12th in offense, tied with Minnesota and the Yankees. I, again, think they're going to have another drop-off here. Their numbers, in my opinion, are being skewed by some of the huge offensive outputs they've had in some of these road games, and that's not what this game is. And they're going up against a decent Detroit pitching staff here. Detroit is ranked 9th offensively, by the way, so they've been better offensively anyway than San Francisco. Detroit's going with Keter Montero here, and he's been pretty good for them. He's back in their starting rotation. He's been in their starting rotation quite a bit and also doing like long relief stuff, but he's been good either way. 3.17 ERA, 1 whip. He's been really good on the road. 2.11 road ERA, 147 opponent batting average. That's all nice. Pitched pretty well on the road last time at the A's stadium, which is a good sign. He shut them out for 6 innings. Pitching in that stadium and doing well there, that's a good sign. He bounced back from a bad start, the prior start against Baltimore. So he seems to be kind of regaining form here. You have to be aware, though, that a bunch of his numbers are coming out of the bullpen, though. Jose, what's up, man? Thanks for hanging out. We're getting a lot, dude. We're doing a lot of numbers this morning. What's going on here, man? Oh, thank you. Thank you for the jewels, sir. Showing me the family jewels again. There you go. I need to come up with a better joke than that. Maybe I'll start singing Jose will save my soul. We'll start singing some Jewel. That's her, right? I can't sing as well. Jewel's a seriously talented singer, man. If people were alive in the 90s for that, she's still alive. I just don't know what she's doing now. Keter Montero overall, he's got a low hit rate here, low walk rate. His strikeout rate's not good, though. He doesn't strike anybody out, but he does keep guys off the bases. He probably should do okay in a pitcher-friendly park against a San Francisco team that isn't good offensively and hasn't really seen him. They have 6 at-bats against him across 3 batters. Only Jung-Ho Lee has a hit against him, a single. 1 strikeout, no walks. So, yeah, I like Detroit here. I don't know what I'm thinking. Why am I not playing Detroit here? San Francisco has not decided on a starter. I have no clue who it's going to be. Detroit does look really easy to play, though, and really public here. 91% of tickets, 95% of the cash on them. Oh, yeah, and then there are, again, it is the rest disadvantage in there. All right, fine. I'll leave this one off my card. But, yeah, I like Detroit in this one. I think if you're going to play it, just play Detroit on the money line. They're at about minus 130 or so here. So that's going to do it for the baseball slate here. No, sir, I am not. I'd already be down there. I'd have to be down there already if I was going to do that. Everybody is upset that I'm not doing it, but we got birthday stuff for my mom going on this weekend, so no, I'm not going to be there. Only 2 likes. Yeah, that's right. Listen to Dirty Sock. Everybody, hit the likes. I'm hoping I'm giving you guys winners today, man. I know we're kind of treading water right now, but Toronto should have been a winner yesterday. That was fucking bullshit. WNBA, I mean, we got to talk about it. It makes money on the show, so that's why we do it. WNBA, even though it's a crap league, crap sport. I don't have anything in the WNBA tonight, though. I was right about all 3 games last night, by the way. Outright win for LA over Minnesota was a crazy result, but I did say I liked LA plus the points in that one. So if people played that and put some on the money line, they did pretty well there. Connecticut against Phoenix is the first game up. Connecticut, probably the worst team in the league, and they're in a really bad spot. They're returning home from a road trip where it's not as long as it looks like because the All-Star break was in here, but they're still returning home from a week-long road trip, more than a week. They've been away since July 28th. They went to Washington, Chicago, Dallas, lost all 3 games on the road trip, return home, and they debatably have a bigger game next against Atlanta because it's an Eastern Conference game, and then New York after that. So I don't think it's a good spot for Connecticut, return home spot. I would kind of be looking towards fading them here. They did actually beat Phoenix once on the road before the All-Star break and then immediately lost to them after that, which I think I actually gave out Phoenix as a play in that second game, maybe as a zigzag spot. I can't remember. So I don't know. I don't know if Phoenix is going to overlook them or not here. The other thing to be aware of is Brittany Griner might come back for Connecticut in this game. So if he/she comes back in this game, it might be reverse injured player theory spot because Griner is still one of the better players on Connecticut. So that might affect the line a little bit, and you'll get less value on Connecticut if you're going to be looking at it that way. So I kind of don't like Connecticut here. I kind of lean Phoenix. Phoenix is coming off a loss to Atlanta, so they probably want to bounce back off of that. It wasn't a close game. It was a big game against Atlanta, pretty good Atlanta team, but again, they're probably going to want to get a game here on this road trip. They're 1-1 on the road trip right now. But they're probably going to want to take the lead on the road trip, for lack of a better way of phrasing that here. Whoa, I'm getting woozy here, man. Lightheaded. Oh, shit. Oh, crap. Hold on, man. Need some water here. I don't know what's going on. Vertigo or something. I think it's my seizure meds are just like, I don't know, doing something weird to me here. Anyway, the money does not like Phoenix at all, though. They're public, 85% of tickets on them. Phoenix does have Kelsey Plum now, so they kind of stacked their roster a little bit with her, although they're probably not even going to make the playoffs. But I do think they're a better team than what they look like record-wise. They have 83% of the cash on them, so they're a public team with less money on them, laying like 6.5 here. But I think I would still lean towards laying the points with Phoenix in that one. There's no way I'm actually going to recommend doing it, though. But that would be my lean there. Atlanta is going to be at Washington. This will be an interesting game. It's a defensive battle, in my opinion, here, although it's not the lowest total on the board, which is interesting because both of these teams are known for good defense. Washington's been playing well. They've won 5 games in a row and against some pretty good teams in here, too. So this Washington team, they're making a surge here, man. Then they might make the playoffs here. They just beat Dallas twice. Pretty good there. But Washington does have kind of an advantage stylistically over Dallas because Dallas doesn't play any defense and Washington does. Atlanta's going to be kind of a different animal here. Although Washington did actually beat Atlanta here at home back on July 2nd. So they're certainly capable of doing that and playing a tough game here against Atlanta. But they're coming off a couple tough games here as well, though, so might be a little bit of a difficult spot for them. Atlanta's coming up beating Phoenix. That was an easy win. Atlanta doesn't have a big game up next either, so it's a weird single-game road trip for Atlanta, though, going up to Washington, so kind of one of those weird one-off travel spots here. I'm not convinced that they're really going to overlook Washington here, though. Might be a defensive battle, but the money is actually coming in on the over in this one, which seems a little odd to me because I'm expecting, again, defense throughout this game. The total's around minus 170, the total is around 170.5. Atlanta has gone up to about a 5.5 point favorite from a 3.5 point favorite, so that usually is kind of a signal there's some injury situation going on here. I don't know because I don't really know these players well enough, but it doesn't really look like there's anything going on in the injury report, so kind of weird that the line moved up 2 points on Atlanta here. Washington looks like they're getting the money, although they look like they're public. 91% of tickets, 93% of the cash on Washington. Although the public doesn't play the WNBA heavily, so that might kind of be a signal that the real money might actually be on Washington. I don't know, man. And getting a lot of points in what I think is going to be a defensive battle here seems like maybe the way to look, but in this game, I don't know. I think the spot might be a little bit better for Atlanta because they're coming off an easier game, and Washington's having to play like a third straight big game in a row, so I don't know, maybe slightly in Atlanta there, actually, towards laying the points, and then maybe you're actually fading the public there, too, I don't know. And then the last game is Golden State-Dallas, a pretty big a pretty big Western Conference matchup here, my mistake. Dallas is returning home from Washington, but it was a single-game road trip. Kind of weird, but at least they're not returning home from a road trip, like a long road trip, because I think that would be a negative spot, obviously, where you have stuff that's built up at home that you need to do. They might be in a bounce-back spot, though, because it was kind of an ugly loss to Washington. They're not going to overlook Golden State, although they do have a big game next against Minnesota, the best team in the league, so I guess you could argue maybe they'll look ahead to that, but I don't think so, because Golden State's a really strong team as well, and I don't think they're going to overlook Golden State. They played them once this year in Golden State, it looks like, and they lost that game. Golden State is definitely good at home. As far as like the road versus home, Golden State's not as good on the road, so that's one thing. They're more vulnerable on the road at the very least, although Dallas isn't actually that good of a home team. Golden State, as far as their situation, they're coming in off of beating Toronto twice and starting a road trip, I believe. So I think it's a positive spot for them. Toronto's not a good team. Golden State's got some momentum here, starting a road trip, 2-game road trip, even though the next game's on ESPN. It's against LA. I think this is the bigger game against Dallas because Dallas has been an up-and-coming team. They're a better team than LA right now. And in this game, Golden State, the one thing they really have going for them is they're the better defense. And this is a really low total for a Dallas game at 163. Actually, it's down to 161.5. That's a really low Dallas total, dude, because Dallas, they like to play fast. They have a good offense, and they don't really play well on defense. Golden State is a better all-around team, and they play kind of a strange offensive style, and they play really well defensively. So the low total with the money coming in on the under, I think that is correlated with Golden State, which is kind of weird that the money's actually coming in on Dallas. Like, those are counter signals to me. Like, I think Golden State and the under are definitely correlated here because, again, better defense. If you like that team, that tends to signal, that tends to be correlated to a low-scoring game, obviously, if you like the better defense. 67% of the tickets on Golden State, though, 85% of the cash on Dallas. I think I lean Golden State, though. I think they're the better team and the better defense, and that's usually what I like. And you're getting like 1.5 points there. So you know me. If the spot isn't really anything significant, I like the better defense getting points usually. So that's the way I would lean. And the under, again, seems to kind of back that up. So I'm kind of surprised that the market read on the side and the total seem to be just totally conflicting with each other there. And that's going to do it. That's the show for today. Let's get some wins today in baseball, man. We have the triple play in baseball. We have the Mets money line, which I'm starting to really not like. Come on, Zach Thornton. Just bail me out, baby. The other games I like better. We're going to be on the Yankees money line, unfortunately. I think we have a lot of advantages in that one. And then I also really like the spot for Cleveland as well. So we're going to be on the Cleveland Indians on the money line as well. Those are the 3 plays today. They're all full game money lines this time to keep it simple. And I did say that in the Mets one, I'm saying to not pick a starting pitcher for Pittsburgh, just in case Mlodzinski isn't the first guy out for them. But for all the rest of the pitchers that we have involved in those games, I would say pick those starters must start. That's going to do it. Learn to Toad on Twitter, Learn to Toad on Instagram. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. It's been a nice show as far as the audience today, so I appreciate it, everybody. Except for the dude in the chat that's bashing Clint. Don't tell me what to think, man. Learn to Toad on Twitter, Learn to Toad on Instagram. Like, subscribe to the channel here, and we're going to have more football content, man. It's exciting times. Football's about to start again. College football coming up really soon. NFL already preseason started. That was a crazy game last night. Close game. Carolina did win, so I was wrong about the game there. I should have said the over. I didn't think it was going to be anywhere near that high scoring, though. That was crazy. But yeah, both quarterbacks, Beck and Haynes King, both look pretty good in that game. So it's preseason. It doesn't matter that much. And some of it is against backup defenders, but still, do with that what you want, man, as far as what those guys looked like yesterday. But I thought they both looked pretty good on the stat sheet. Anyway, what else do we got going on here? We're on audio, Apple, Spotify, Spreaker. Check it out over there. That helps me out too. Covered in Uke is my ukulele YouTube channel. You can check that out. Patreon.com/LearnToToad if you want to support me that way. It's all in the link tree as well. Losercast every Tuesday night. The New York Giants G-Spot podcast. I got to circle back with Ben and figure that shit out. Maybe even Adam Nutter. Maybe Adam Nutter will actually show up for those episodes. I have no idea. Adam Nutter actually showing up for a podcast? That never happens. So those are the other two podcasts I'm on. The one that Adam Nutter never shows up for, and then the one that maybe he will always show up for. I have no idea. Did I forget anything? I don't think so. You'll find everything. Linktree, Learn to Toad. That's where everything is. If you see me on Twitter, the Linktree is there too. It's in the show notes for all these shows too. That's going to do it. I appreciate everybody. Let's have a good start to the weekend. Everybody have fun in Florida at Bro Grove too. It would definitely be fun if I was there, man, and get to see Owen again. That would be awesome. Unfortunately, it's a no-go for me here. I do get to save money at least by not doing it, but which I kind of need to right now. That's going to do it. Let's turn this thing around here, man. We're only running at like 58% now. That's not good enough. But no, like if you're running 55%, you're good in this business. So let's get back on the winning side here. That's going to do it. Peace.
If the dark starts talking, hand me the phone. Let somebody answer, let somebody know. You do not have to lose this round alone. Hold on, not tonight, not now. You're still here now.